George Washington led his forces across the Delaware River on Christmas morning in 1776 to attack what town? The answer, Trenton. Washington's army attacked Trenton the next day, December 26th. What three-word phrase is written on Martin Luther King Jr.'s gravestone? The words are, "Free at last." These are the words spoken at the end of his famous 1963 "I Have a Dream" speech. When listed alphabetically, which country comes first? The answer, Afghanistan, followed by Albania and Algeria. What adjective is used to describe any disease or abnormality present at birth? The answer, congenital. What is the unit of weight for precious gems? The answer, carat. Carat is a unit of mass that is equal to 200 milligrams. Who authored the novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? The author was L. Frank Baum. This book was published in 1900. The popular movie, titled The Wizard of Oz, was released in 1939. In 1937, broadcaster Herbert Morrison declared, "There is not a chance for anyone to be saved," but in fact, 61 of the 97 passengers on what aircraft survived? That aircraft was the Hindenburg. What was the name of the space mission that first landed on the moon? It was Apollo 11. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Residents of what country refer to themselves as Kiwis? The answer, New Zealand. In ancient Greece, throwing an apple at someone was a declaration of what? It was a declaration of love. Catching the apple represented an acceptance of that love. A pimento is what type of vegetable? It is a pepper. Which dog's name comes from the Welsh for dwarf dog? The answer, Corgi. This breed can be traced back to nearly 1,000 years. What infectious intestinal disease with vomiting and diarrhea killed many in Peru in 1991? The disease was cholera. This epidemic killed over 3,000 people that year in Peru. What is the state in Buddhist theology whose name means extinguishing, in which suffering and desire end. The answer? Nirvana. In Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, what does the C stand for? It stands for the speed of light, which, by the way, is 186,000 miles per second. What 20th century American photographer was best known for his black and white photographs of the U.S. Southwest? His name? Ansel Adams. Which young girl helped drive the English from French soil in the 15th century? The answer? Joan of Arc. She was burned at the stake at age 19 for heresy, although 25 years later her conviction was formally overturned. Which location from Arthurian legend is today a metaphor for an idealized time or place? The answer? Camelot. Located east of Cuba and west of Puerto Rico, what is the second largest island in the West Indies? The answer? Hispaniola. Cuba is the largest island in the West Indies. Mum is a clipped word for what showy flowers? Mum is actually short for chrysanthemum. Who sat on the throne of England during the Revolutionary War? It was King George III. What is the name of the condition involving a contagious fungal infection found on the feet? The condition is named athlete's foot. It is named as such because it affects people whose feet tend to be damp and sweaty, which is often the case with athletes, although of course anyone can get this infection. Identify the 6-letter Latin word for against that is often used to describe two competitors in a sports match or opposing sides in a legal case. The 6-letter word is versus. What element has the chemical symbol F? It is the element fluorine. What term is used to describe the layer of the atmosphere that is closest to Earth? The answer? Troposphere. This term comes from the Greek meaning rotating sphere. Thomas Edison said his biggest mistake was not giving any professional or personal respect to what other great electrical engineer of the time? The answer is the great Nikola Tesla. Name the 4 gods of mythology who have both planets and chemical elements named after them. The 4 gods are Mercury, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, although Pluto today is classified as a dwarf planet. Name the dance, done in 3/4 time, whose king is considered to be Johann Strauss. The dance is the waltz. On what date does the celebration of Kwanzaa begin? The answer, December 26th. This celebration of African American culture runs from December 26th to January 1st annually. In meters, how long is an Olympic-sized swimming pool? The length is 50 meters. What large seabird spends most of its time in the air over the ocean, has a wingspan of over 11 feet, and sailors believe its killing brings bad luck? The name of this bird is the albatross, frequently referenced in literature, perhaps most famously in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In 1927, who became the first man to fly solo and nonstop across the Atlantic? This aviator was Charles Lindbergh. The Galapagos Islands, the famed archipelago of unique wildlife, belongs to what country? The Galapagos Islands are part of Ecuador. They are located about 1,000 kilometers off of Ecuador's coast. In what year did the children's show Sesame Street first start airing on PBS? Sesame Street debuted in 1969. Actually, it was November 10th, 1969. Sesame Street is one of the longest-running television shows in the world. What is the name of a medical doctor who treats disorders of bones? The answer, orthopedist. Which planet has the most moons? That planet is Saturn. Saturn has 82 moons. As of 2022, 53 moons are confirmed and named, and another 29 moons are awaiting confirmation of discovery and official naming. In the International System of Units, what is the definitive unit for electric current? That unit is the ampere. It's often shortened to amp, and it is named after André-Marie Ampère, who was a French mathematician and physicist. Because they never surrendered to the American government, what tribe of the southeastern U.S. call themselves the unconquered people? The answer is the Seminole tribe, located mostly in Florida. The name for which classification of rock was derived from a Latin word meaning fire? The answer, igneous rock. The word ignis is Latin for fire. Tribunes, praetors, and consuls were officials in the government of what ancient republic? The answer, Rome. The Roman Republic began with the overthrow of the Roman kingdom in 509 BC and is said to have ended in 27 BC with the establishment of the Roman Empire. In Little Women, which sister dies at an early age? The answer, Beth. Little Women was first published in 1868, written by Louisa May Alcott. What European Union country has the largest population? It is the country of Germany. The population in 2022 is around 85 million people. What Greek mathematician from Syracuse laid the foundations of hydrostatics, statics, and the principle of the lever? The mathematician's name was Archimedes. Archimedes lived from about 287 BC to 212 BC. What does the substance melanin control? Melanin controls color of skin. What term describes a baby otter? The answer is a pup or kitten. Methanogens fall into what category of unicellular prokaryotic microorganisms? The answer, bacteria. In what year did Pluto become reclassified as a dwarf planet? Pluto was reclassified in the year 2006. It was reclassified because it has not cleared its neighboring region of other objects, which is a requirement to be classified as a planet. What residence along Bear Run was commissioned by Edgar Kaufman and was constructed by Frank Lloyd Wright over the cascade of a stream? The answer, Fallingwater. Located in southeastern Pennsylvania, Frank Lloyd Wright designed Fallingwater in 1935. Construction began the following year. Which fruit shares its name with a flightless bird? The answer is the kiwi. Actually, this fruit's complete name is the kiwi fruit. In which city was Anne Frank's hiding place? The answer is the city of Amsterdam. In an online web address, what does HTTP stand for? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol was initiated by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989 and paved the way for the explosion of the World Wide Web. What's the medical term for bad breath? The answer, halitosis. What country is known as the Land of Milk and Honey? The answer, Israel. In the Old Testament of the Bible, the promised land of Judaism is referred to as a land flowing with milk and honey. Name the Austrian monk who discovered the basic principles of heredity through a breeding experiment with peas. The answer, Gregor Mendel. Mendel's work in the 19th century paved the way for the field of genetics. Which country did the band AC/DC originate in? The answer, Australia. AC/DC was formed in 1973 by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young, who are actually Scottish-born. In the International System of Units, what is the definitive unit for the amount of a substance involved in a chemical reaction? The unit is the mole. The word mole does not come from the ground animal with the same name, but is derived from the word molecule. Who was the author of the Canterbury Tales? The author was Geoffrey Chaucer. This English poet, author, and civil servant lived in the 1300s. What is the more popular name for the portrait officially titled La Gioconda, painted in 1503? The answer, perhaps the most famous portrait of all time, the Mona Lisa. It is named as such on the presumption that it depicts Lisa del Giocondo. This was painted, of course, by Leonardo, the Italian Renaissance artist, who was also a sculptor, engineer, scientist, and architect. What two elements is the sun primarily composed of? The two elements are hydrogen and helium. The surface temperature of the sun is about 5,500 degrees Celsius, which is 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the fin on the backs of fish and some whales and dolphins called? This fin is called the dorsal fin. The main use of the dorsal fin is to stabilize against rolling and to assist in sudden turns. What number is directly to the left of 20 on a standard dartboard? The answer, as seen here, is the number 5. Benjamin Franklin said, "I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen as the representative bird of our country." What bird did he wish had been selected instead? The answer is the turkey. Franklin described the turkey as a much more respectable bird and a true original native of America. What is the general term for any cancer-causing substance? The term is carcinogen? Carcinogens include things like asbestos, the hepatitis virus, mustard gas, tobacco, processed meats, and more. These according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Who was the founder of the Red Cross? The answer, Clara Barton. She was a hospital nurse in the American Civil War, and at that time, since nursing education was not then very formalized, she did not attend nursing school. She provided self-taught nursing care. What animal is said to be representative of the market during a period when stock prices are rising? The animal is the bull. The sculpture seen here is near the financial district in Manhattan, New York. On the other hand, the bear is representative of the market when prices are falling. Who was nicknamed the Red Fox, served as governor of New York, and was elected president in 1836? The answer, Martin Van Buren. Van Buren, the 8th president, was the first president to be born a citizen of the United States and not a British subject. Samantha twitched her nose to perform magic in which TV drama? The name of the show was Bewitched. Bewitched originally aired for 8 seasons on ABC from 1964 to 1972. It is about a witch who marries an ordinary man and attempts to lead the life of a typical suburban housewife. What country's famous sites include the Temple of the Sun and Machu Picchu? The answer is Peru. Machu Picchu, shown here, is a 15th century Inca citadel located in southern Peru. What is the term for any two places directly opposite each other on the Earth? The answer, antipodes. The North and South Pole are, of course, antipodes. Another example of antipodes are locations in the countries of Spain and New Zealand. How is the date on which Easter is celebrated determined each year? Every year, Easter falls on the first Sunday following the first full moon on or after the first day of spring. What is the condition in which the blood does not contain enough red blood cells or hemoglobin? The condition is known as anemia. With anemia, a person may not get enough oxygen carried to the body's tissues, causing one to feel tired and weak. What title is given to Iran's spiritual head? The answer, Ayatollah. Shown here is the flag of Iran, adopted in 1980. Who wrote the Vampire Chronicles, which include the novels Armand, Blood and Gold, and Interview with the Vampire? The author, Anne Rice. Interview with the Vampire was adapted in a 1994 movie starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Red tides are caused by enormous growths of what kind of plant life? The answer, algae. Also known as harmful algal blooms, red tides can produce toxins that kill fish and make shellfish dangerous to eat. James Cook led and commanded what research vessel to Australia and New Zealand in 1768? The name of the ship was the HMS Endeavour. James Cook made 3 voyages exploring the Pacific as a captain in the British Royal Navy from 1768 to 1779. The scientific study of bees is known as what? The answer, Melitology. This field studies the over 20,000 known bee species in the world. What is the name for the Greek home of the dead, a cold, gloomy, dull place named for the Greek god of the underworld? The name of this place and the god is Hades. Hades is often described as having a 3-headed dog named Cerberus. Originally, the Amazon.com web store only sold what kind of product? The answer, books. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage in Bellevue, Washington in 1994 as an online bookstore. What scientific apparatus measures wind speed? This device is known as an anemometer. The highest wind speed ever recorded was 253 miles per hour. This was measured on Barrow Island, Australia on April 10, 1996. Name the world's 3 largest nations based on area. The 3 nations are Russia, Canada, and China. The United States is the 4th largest country, followed by Brazil, Australia, and India. In the International System of Units, what is the definitive unit for time? The answer, the second. What is the name for a compound consisting of 1 atom of chemical element P and 3 atoms of chemical element Cl? The answer, phosphorus trichloride. This compound is used in many herbicides and insecticides. What author of The Wealth of Nations is considered to be the father of modern economics? The answer, Adam Smith. Smith was a Scottish economist and philosopher who lived in the 18th century. What term describes a hypersensitivity to food, pollen, dust, etc.? The answer, allergies. Symptoms of allergies may include red eyes, itching rash, sneezing, coughing, shortness of breath, swelling, among others. What does the Italian term al dente mean regarding pasta? The answer, to the teeth. Al dente pasta is pasta cooked all the way through that retains a slight chew. It is considered by many to be the ideal pasta texture because it is neither crunchy and undercooked, nor mushy. Name the Vietnamese city formerly known as Saigon. The answer, Ho Chi Minh City. This city is still commonly called Saigon by many. It is the most populous city in Vietnam and is known for its vibrant street life, culture, and museums. What short piece of music is analogous to a preface in a literary work? The answer is the prelude, or overture. This is a piece of music that is played at the start of a concert or other musical production. What was the name of the first space shuttle to go into space? The name of the shuttle was Columbia. During its 22 years of operation, starting in 1981, Columbia was flown on 28 missions in the Space Shuttle program, spending over 300 days in space and completing over 4,000 orbits around Earth. What is the name of the cellular reproductive process that results in cells with 1/2 the normal number of chromosomes? This process is called meiosis. What is the only counting number that is twice the sum of its digits? The answer is 18. This is because the sum of the digits in 18, 1 plus 8 is equal to 9, and twice that sum, 2 times 9, is equal to 18. This is the only counting number that has this property. What animal holds the title of fastest moving land animal? The answer is the cheetah. It is estimated that a cheetah can reach speeds of up to 80 miles per hour. What character in Uncle Tom's Cabin is known for his whips and bloodhounds? The answer, Simon Legree. With the alternate title Life Among the Lowly, this book is the great anti-slavery novel by American author Harriet Beecher Stowe. What country won the very first FIFA World Cup in 1930? The first World Cup was won by Uruguay. Uruguay defeated Argentina 4-2 in the final match. What New Yorker formulated the higher law principle against slavery and, as Secretary of State, engineered the purchase of Alaska? His name was William Seward. The United States acquired Alaska, whose flag is shown here, from the Russian Empire for $7.2 million in 1867. What is the opposite of a flood current? The answer, an ebb current. Which fashion designer was shot dead in the summer of 1997? The answer, Gianni Versace. Versace was murdered during a morning walk on Ocean Drive in Miami, Florida. In 1960, which country became the first in the world to have a female prime minister? The country, Sri Lanka. What is the name of a medical doctor who treats disorders of the mind? The answer, psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are trained medical doctors who can prescribe medication for their patients. Name the 2 landlocked countries of South America. The 2 countries are Bolivia and Paraguay. Of the 12 independent South American countries, these are the only 2 without an ocean coast. How many fingers does Mickey Mouse have? Mickey Mouse only has 4 fingers. One reason for this is that in the era of hand-drawn animation, having one less digit on every character in every cell saved a lot of time and money.